Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to get into Johnie and Lydia and Izzy and Uche in a second. But first, I want to talk about the fact that Love is Blind is being sued. I think technically the production studio is being sued over allegations of sexual assault and false imprisonment. So this just came out last night, and I found it interesting. So let me just read from people like straight up. Love is Blind. The creator is finally speaking out because you know they knew that people were going to learn about these allegations. So I guess they figured it was a good idea to come out and say something. But let me get into like what actually happened. So this person, Tran Dang, filmed for season 5, but they're not featured in the episodes. And this person is suing the production company Kinetic, Kinetic Content, after claiming that she was sexually assaulted on set by her former fiance, and Kinetic allegedly did nothing to stop it, according to the complaint that people obtained. In the suit, Dang also claimed she was falsely imprisoned while filming, and producers acted with negligence. So I'm not so sure about the false imprisonment, but maybe on the negligence, there might be something to that. So since her initial filming, since her initial filing, Dang has also sued production company Delirium TV, which Connecticut alleged that that actual company is delegated. I'm so sorry, I don't have my reading glasses on, but that company, Delirium, is delegated responsibility for shooting the relevant season of Love is Blind. So they're like kind of passing the buck over to this other company, which makes sense, legally speaking, even like technically speaking. Like people, when you get into like lawsuits, you have to know who you're really, supposed to be suing. Otherwise, you're gonna like end up wasting a lot of time. Basically, what they're complaining about, they're saying the producers are throwing money at the problem by spending an inordinate amount of money on losing legal positions that do nothing but delay the parties from having their day in court. So, mm, who is the legal responsible party is the question. So, is it uh is it the Love is Blind producers, or is it the actual people that were shooting the scenes? Yeah, who's actually responsible is the question. But anyway, the part that I wanted to touch on was the false imprisonment, because the producers are claiming and the creators claiming that it's really ridiculous, um that she is filing for that, and I agree. So Colum also calls Dang's false imprisonment claims preposterous, as participants are always free to walk away from the show, like what has been done in the past with previous cast members, and most recently in this particular season with Aaliyah, Taylor, and Jared JP. So there's like literally 3 people who left the show voluntarily. So how this person is claiming that they're falsely imprisoned and not allowed to leave, like I don't see how they're going to be able to pull that off, or how they're going to be able to prove that. But this person is saying that they were sexually assaulted by their like fiance. So they were engaged to somebody else on the show, and the person wanted to be intimate, and who knows what went down. I guess the only people that would know are the two people involved and the people that were supposedly witness to this because they're part of the crew that was shooting the scene. So here's the thing, like, why is why why isn't the guy being sued? Why isn't the guy being sued? If you've been sexually assaulted, you would sue the person that assaulted you. I'm not saying that they're not suing that person, but I just feel like I want to understand more about that. Like, are you suing the person that you're accusing, or are you just suing these production companies? It's odd to me. It's odd. Um, so I'm over that conversation though. But I felt like it was worth mentioning because this whole season of Love is Blind is so full of drama. But like the thing I want to talk about is these four particular characters: Johnie, Lydia, Izzy, and Uche, because they're the ones that have like most of the drama this season. And what I've noticed, because I listen to a lot of people who comment, they do reactions about the show, and it's not necessarily the people that are commenting on it, but the people in, like, literally in the comments, a lot of people like to blame women. And it's like an instinctive thing, is what I'm noticing. Um, Without much thought, without many questions, it's like the woman is to blame. For me, like, reality TV show is full of high drama, high strung people, and a lot of opportunists, a lot of very narcissistic people, people that think that they're like interesting enough to be filmed. Like, you're not a singer or an actor or a dancer, or you don't have any particular like skill in entertainment besides your ability to kind of put it all out there. And to be honest, like, that in and of itself, it is a it's something. Everybody can't do that. Everybody cannot, you know, allow themselves to be judged, in that way. So, I do see some like value to it, but I'm just talking about the type of people that are usually in these situations, both male and female. Like, I used to study theater, I used to perform, and one thing that I just never could really deal with was the people, because actors are a certain type of person. It's not just like when you say action, they become, their characters, of course, but it's who they are essentially. They are, a certain type of person. And I just really never could get with like theater people. It's just, but anyway, I just say that to say that, these are certain types of people that go on reality TV shows, especially like dating shows like Love is Blind. I think it speaks to the core of what so many people want. People want to be loved. People want to find their person. People want that connection. And for whatever reason in our society, we see marriage as some kind of accomplishment, some kind of achievement beyond what other people in other cultures just consider to be customary. Like, it's just a way of life. One day you get married, you have a family, and you know, it's like a milestone type of situation for us in this hemisphere. It seems like it's it's some sort of accomplishment or achievement, or it means something about your value. And obviously that's not true, but that's just how we look at things. And we have these types of shows. Like, I watch Love is Blind, I watch Ultimatum, I watch Love at First Sight and 90 Day Fiance. All of those kind of, rush to the aisle, will they, won't, will they or won't they type of shows. And they're all fascinating. At the end of the day, it's like you hope that people do fall in love and that it really works out. And I think what really worked for Love is Blind was the first season was so successful with Cameron and Lauren that I think a lot of us just want to see that happen again and again and again. But even the people that have married in previous seasons, I feel nobody has ever lived up to the miraculous union that was Cameron and Lauren's. It just there's just something that was magical about that particular experiment. But they've all kind of been lacking ever since. And this season is such a disaster that I'm not expecting anything. And I don't think anybody else should either. But it's still fun to watch. But what one thing that has not been fun to watch is the harsh treatment of women and the harsh judgment of women. So I'm just gonna list it off because this is just it's just how I feel as I watch the show. Johnie. Yeah, Johnie, look, if you were in love with a drug addict who was an active addict, that's hard. Addicts are not easy, and a lot of people are addicts. I don't even want to get into it. It's like a whole epidemic, and it's not necessarily their fault, and I wouldn't say it's anybody's fault. It's just a matter of like resources, education, accountability, like are they ready to take the necessary steps to stop, their addiction? And that can be hard. We don't know how that person got addicted to drugs, okay? Um, but to me, there's a certain type of person that gets involved with addicts, typically is like a codependent or a very empathic type of person, somebody who sees the good in all people. And a lot of times these people get mistreated. And that's what I see for Johnie. Like, for me, I can paint the narrative. I can see that, she might have just completely been drained dealing with this addict and then jumped into a rebound relationship and got married probably way too fast to someone that she didn't really love, but really just wanted to, again, be codependent and wanted to use somebody else to as a way of moving on and moving forward with her life. And the relationship didn't work because it probably lacked the foundation that was necessary for it to work. And so, what does she do next? She goes on a reality show to rush to the altar with someone that like to marry someone like or be engaged to someone sight unseen. Like all of it is all of it is like mm. Like are these the best decisions? Are these the best decisions? But I can understand it too. I can still understand how somebody like a Johnny would want to believe that she can find her person, no matter what, just eternally optimistic, but also damaged, like emotionally damaged, probably needs to take some time out and sort through that, especially when you have, I believe she comes from a large family, lots of siblings, and has a mother that has not been emotionally supportive, has told her that she might not belong in a relationship. So these are a lot of like things that will eat at your self-esteem. So she should work on that, you know? And I think that she's absolutely correct in reflecting on the idea that she might have chosen the same type of person that she has in the past who was not good for her, meanwhile, overlooked somebody that would be good for her. I think that is totally normal and valid. But, people are saying that she was sketchy I mean, I think that she was desperately clinging to trying to have somebody. And I think she was desperately, and not just anybody. I don't think she just wanted anybody. I think she said it straight up when she's like, I think I made a mistake. Like, for whatever reason, she jumped the gun like a dumbass, and dumped Chris before she had anything definitive or solid with Izzy. Like, she just jumps. It's not good judgment. Is that a crime? Is that a crime? Like, who hasn't done that? Who hasn't dated multiple people and kind of locked down on the wrong person, then looked back like, damn, I never should have picked that person. Like, what about that other person that was treating me so much better or so well, and I never gave them a shot? But in this case, you do have the opportunity to get back in the pods and to keep trying. And so when she got up in the pods, she was, talking that stuff with Chris, and I do think it was genuine. And Chris did what he needed to do to protect himself. He's like, I need to take some space and think about things. And she accepted that. And then they got together off camera. But I feel like for Izzy to want to compare notes and all of this stuff with Chris is just on some fuckboy shit. Like, honestly, it's none of your business what she said to somebody else in the pods. Now, I mean, it's the guy's business if they want to talk amongst themselves. You can't, that's their business. And if they do compare notes, if they do share things, that's their business. But here's the thing, even though they share their little notes, Chris still decided he wanted to be with Johnie. So why was Izzy like, I need to still talk to you about this, Chris, and I need to tell Johnie that she's a piece of shit and she's a sketchy as fuck person? Like, bro, don't you have your bride? Aren't you happy? Aren't you running off into the sunset? So why are you reaching back, trying to get at Johnny or railing on her, as he puts it? Like, why are you railing on her and trying to convince Chris that she's shady? What is the point? In my opinion, what happens in the pods should stay in the pods, and everybody just do your thing. Like, I can only imagine if I was dating multiple guys and then they start comparing notes amongst themselves, and then the guy approaches me and is like, well, I heard you said this to him and you said that to them, and now if it was me, I would just dump them all. But in Johnny's case, she's not even getting this energy from the person she's actually with. She's getting this energy from someone that dumped her. Like, what the fuck? You dumped her, and now you want to come and fuck up what she has going on now. Yeah, I know exactly the type of person that does shit like that. Okay? It's only like one kind of person that does that kind of thing. Yeah, so anyway, moving on. Lydia, I don't know, y'all. Like, is it really that big a deal that she followed, or she didn't even follow him. She watched people's stories on IG that Uche followed. Like, I just I thought that's what IG was all about. Like, I don't I don't know. I don't know who the fuck goes through who's watching their stories and then questions it and goes to their profile and then reaches out to the person that they're following. Like, I don't know, if it was me, if I would never get that far. I would never get far enough to put it all together like that. But if I did and I saw oh, they must have seen my profile through Uche. And so they watch my stories. Like, so what? So what? Like I'm not understanding. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting why they would ever like reach out to Uche. Like, oh my God, they've been watching me for weeks. It's weird. It's weird, and it's weird that Uche has screenshots of this, and it's like built his case. Like he's already built up his case, and he's walking around to everybody trying to prove his fucking case. But anyway, back to Lydia. Like Lydia is supposed to be this super obsessed stalker that, somehow orchestrated everything. She's like the lengths that people go to make women the problem is hilarious. And men do this and women do this too. It's hilarious to me. Like Lydia is like the most maniacal, the most cunning, the most clever. Like she knows exactly what to do. Like she knows how to get herself on reality shows with her ex just so she can follow him, just so she can get back together with him because that makes sense, right? But look, what I really think is I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually Uche that auditioned for the show after hearing that Lydia did. But let's just say Lydia auditioned because she heard Uche did. I'm, for honestly, I'm still feeling like a big fat so what. But also, um, what I really believe is that they both knew that they were both going to be on the show because they both heard through the grapevine, through whatever mutual friends, that they were going to be on the show. It's not like these people go into hiding, like they audition for the show, they get cast, and then they go into hiding. Like, no, they're going to tell people, they're going to tell their friends or their family, and those people are going to tell people whatever. Like, I just have a feeling that they both knew they were going to be on the show, or they both knew it was a possibility. Like, oh, did you hear, like, Lydia auditioned? Like, something like that. Because, Lydia did say that she felt she was going to see someone from her past, which, by the way, we never saw her say it. What we saw was Aaliyah telling Uche that she heard from other girls that Lydia said she was going to see somebody from her past. Okay, I just want to like make that really, really clear. We never actually heard Lydia say that. But if she said that, of course that raises an eyebrow like, what? That's interesting. But another thing is Uche was doing way too much to act like he did not recognize Lydia's voice. How the fuck do you not recognize Lydia's voice? Once you meet Lydia, 5 minutes into knowing Lydia, you can hear that she has a very distinct voice. She's loud as hell. And in this case, Uche, you've been knowing her for years. Like, I could go into the pods and an ex knows it's me by the sound of my voice. So, how are you going to convince me that you didn't know that was Lydia? And then when she said all of the things to try to jar his memory, he was still acting dumb as hell. Like, oh, I don't know. Who are you? And then finally he was like, Lydia? Like he acted like, again, acted. He acted like she was just anybody that he might have gone out to coffee with a couple times. Like, no, they have an extremely extensive relationship. Like, she loves your dog. She buys your dog treats and toys. She knows your friends. She's been all up in your house. Like, she knows you. Why are you acting dumb as hell? Okay, so for me, the fact that Uche acted like that makes me feel like he's more the culprit than she is. As far as I see, Lydia has been nothing but an open book. People are upset because she overshared. Yeah, she did violate Aaliyah's boundaries when she said she didn't want to know things, and Lydia went ahead and told her anyway. And we don't even really know what the edit is, but anyway. Yeah, she is a little chatty Kathy. She's doing a little too much. But like, is that some sort of criminal behavior? Like, oh my god, she's getting into Leah's head, she's fucking it up. Oh wow. Like, what the fuck? That's one thing that Uche said that I agree with, even though he's a complete manipulator. But when he was like, you didn't have confidence in us. Like, how can this girl telling you the color of his car, that he has a dope house, and that they fucked 3 months ago? How does that fuck up your relationship? Like, how? How? If he didn't fuck her 3 months ago, he fucked someone else 3 months ago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he fucked somebody like a week before he went on the show. I'm pretty sure. Like, that's what people do. People date, people fuck. These people are like in their 30s. Like, I can't. I cannot. I can't even get into Aaliyah because I think she's a complete victim. I think she likes to play the role of a victim, and she could really take a page out of Taylor's book, because Taylor really was a victim, but she did not embody being a victim, so she ended up being triumphant. She showed you what it looks like to stand in your real power, even though somebody is not giving you the justice that you deserve. But she stood her ground and she walked away with her head held high. Meanwhile, Aaliyah is playing mad little baby games. Like, I'm like, are you an adult or nah? And then instead of just walking away, she circles back and still lays herself before him for the fucking slaughter. Like, are you dumb? Like, it was just Lydia. Lydia was just getting in the way of it all. It wasn't his behavior when you told him about your past. It's all just Lydia. It's all just Lydia. Like, yeah, I can't. I mean, she's clearly a pick me, She literally like allowed him to dump her after she walked away. Like, walk away with your head held high, but the thing was, she was playing a game. She wasn't really walking away from him. She just didn't want to look dumb on camera. Well, it didn't work, did it? She still wanted to date him on the low low after the show. She just she just didn't want an audience for the abuse. That's it. She didn't mind the abuse. She kept coming back for more and more and more, but she just didn't want anybody to see her playing dum dum on camera. Girl, bye. Goodbye. I mean, once you first of all talking to Uche, like, ew, like he's just like a robot. But once you met him, I get it. He's like chocolate. He's built whatever. But still, to me, there's nothing enticing about him. Like, I just couldn't even get any sexual energy or like sexual charisma. I couldn't get anything off of him that was like, oh, I want you. I want to be with you. Like, no, I would just it's like being with him would be like being with someone who just wanted to hear themselves talk constantly. No, thank you. Yeah, but Lydia had nothing to do with their relationship dissolving, and it's just like really incredible to me that people can blame her and make her this the ultimate stalker. Like, I don't know. Why can't she be on a reality show too just because her stupid ex is on there? Like, why not? Why can't they both had to audition and they both had to be chosen? And there's something there. Like, when the producers were they went to digging a little bit, they found out something. and they decided that they wanted this drama, for their show. But it's got to be Lydia's fault. Why? Because she's open-hearted, because she's passionate, because she's fiery, because she talks too much. She talks a lot. I can't say she talks too much, but I mean she talks a lot, and so does Uche. But it's the way she talks. It's like it's something about her femininity that bothers people. I don't even know what the fuck she owed Aaliyah. Like she was nothing but nice to the girl. Oh, she was doing that to cozy up to her. To do what? To do what? Like, what really could she have done? And if Aaliyah felt like she felt smothered by her, why are you telling Uche like he's your daddy? Like he's gonna sit there and beat Lydia with a belt or something. Like bitch, if you thought that she was smothering you, then pick a boundary, draw your line in the sand, tell her to back off. Duh. But no, she's gonna say stupid shit like if Uche doesn't propose, then you can have him back. Like, girl, grow the fuck up. Grow up. Now, according to Aaliyah, she really left because Lydia was going crazy in the house. All right. Still a stupid reason to leave. Like, were you like being physically threatened or something? If you were, then sue the production company like this person's doing if they don't step in and help you. I don't believe that shit. I believe they might have gotten into an argument, but it for you to leave. And Uche's right. You didn't write a letter. You didn't say goodbye. Why didn't you go up in the pods and break up and break it off like anybody else does? Like I said, like I said, Aaliyah is a victim. She was down for the abuse. She just didn't want to do it on camera anymore. She didn't want to live in the house anymore. But she still wanted Uche's abusive ass. Okay, so she could have him. Um, but Uche didn't want her. And that's the truth. Because if Aaliyah was looking like Lydia 2.0, he would have forgiven her. But he knows he can't say that. He knows he can't get on camera and say, well, I see you now and you're dark as hell and I'm not interested. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I definitely feel like that was part of the vibes. Even though Aaliyah's absolutely beautiful, she was probably the most beautiful woman in that house. Izzy. So the reason I'm bringing up like the Izzy and Uche is because everything that people have a problem with in regards to Johnie and Lydia all has to do with talk. Oh, you don't like what somebody said, or you don't like what you heard that they said. It's like dumb shit like that. But peep Izzy and Uche and the things that they actually do. It's not like, oh, I heard he said this, I heard he said that. It's like these dudes are literally doing things to people. And it's like overlooked because Johnie was talking shit in the pods. Oh, Johnie said this to Chris, and then Johnie said this to Izzy. And then Johnie was in the house talking shit about Stacy. Oh, Lydia was telling Aaliyah this and that. Lydia said to the girls this and that. Lydia said, Johnie said, Lydia said, Johnie said. What about what Izzy and Uche actually do? What they nobody like people will justify the crazy shit that men do, and they will be so hard on women over frivolous things. Oh, you're sketchy as fuck. You're shady. Man, shut the fuck up. I said what I wanted to say in the pods because I was dating around. Fuck you. I chose one dude. He didn't choose me back. And then I said, oh shit, why did I choose this guy? This other guy was actually better. So now I'm going to get in the pods. I'm going to pussy pop up in there and see if I can win him back. And then Izzy is mad that it worked for her. He's mad that it worked for her. But I'm going to tell you what Izzy and Stacy are really mad about. Like, I understand that Stacy's like, yo, you talk shit about me. I don't like you. But why is she so mad? Like, why is she so mad? Like she's frothing at the mouth. Izzy and Stacy are really mad at Johnie because the shit she talked, the quote unquote shit that she talked, was actually the truth. She saw right through that shit. She was like, I don't see it working between the two of them because Izzy's broke, his credit sucks, and Stacy's a bougie bitch. Okay? She said they're just having fun in there and they don't know anything about the reality of what a relationship is going to be like. And she was right because every single thing is a problem now. Stacy's got a problem with this, she got a problem with that. You don't make me dinner. You don't make me dinner. You don't do romantic gestures. Your credit sucks. I can't trust you with money. You don't have 20 G's to drop on my house. Like, sometimes love wants to fly first class. Just dumb. But anyway, yeah, Izzy, like, I know this is orchestrated by producers, or like, yeah, go have a conversation. But the producers don't make you say the things that you say or do the things that you do. Those are choices. Okay. You could have chosen to have a heartfelt conversation. And as you see, Izzy did the same shit with Lydia too. But Lydia crushed it. She was like, it's the past. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. He had nothing to say at that point. Now he wants to go on the attack for Izzy. Now he's drunk anyway, but we'll disregard that. But he's saying to Johnie, you said I wasn't your only number one. Nigga, what? Like, who cares? What? You're engaged. What? You hurt Chris and you said this to him and you said this to me and let me give you some advice. And Johnie said, I don't need your advice. And see, that is what fucked Izzy up because he saw 100% at that point that he didn't have any backup plans. Okay? Lydia doesn't want me, and now Johnie doesn't want me either. So if I can't make shit work with this bougie bitch, Stacy, I don't have any backups. So he was like, well, I'm going to give you my advice anyway because everybody here thinks you're sketchy as fuck. Some invisible army shit. Same that JP did with the 99% of women bullshit. Let's not triangulate. Don't put any third parties up in the mix. Bitch, if you think I'm sketchy as fuck, just say that and then we'll move the fuck on. And he was lying. See, like people overlook this shit. They overlook it. And by the way, Johnie did not tell those men different things. She said the same things in different ways. Why does she have to be verbatim to each of them? Who gives a fuck about these people? Like, you dumped me and now I'm moving forward. And I'm going to say what I want because this is the rapport that I have with this person. I'm going to say it how I say it. Something about gossip, it's just this is why gossip is like wrong because you're paraphrasing. These guys are comparing notes and they're paraphrasing what she said. They don't really they can't grasp the energy in the room or the context of what she's saying. They're just like, "Oh, that's what she said to me. This is what she said to me." Like, chill out. Chill all the way out. No, Izzy just didn't want Chris to choose Johnie because he liked the idea of devastating these women. That's why he keeps the trophies in his bathroom of people's necklaces and earrings and stupid shit like that. That's why. That's why he keeps that shit. It reminds him of somebody that he believes that he slayed. And he loved saying that he didn't remember whose things they were. He remembers exactly whose the fuck they were. He loved to sit there on camera and say that he didn't remember those people, hoping that those people were watching and that they would feel some kind of hurt. That I mean, that's how I see it. And he was also hoping to hurt Stacy too. Okay, which I don't feel bad for her because I don't know if he would have mentioned the lost and found, but she was taking a dig at the fact that he didn't have the correct furniture in her opinion. So he was like, he countered that with, oh, I have a lost and found. I don't need a nightstand because I have a lost and found. And he's just immature. He's like extremely immature. But anyway, he likes to see women fight over him too. Like he's like a mama's boy. He's not a real man. He wants a woman to love him like his mama does, and literally, it's not a woman's job to love you like your mama. But that's what he expects. And sorry. Have you ever dated a man that's like that though, that wants to see women fighting over him? I just want to tell this story. It's not like a big story. It's small. But I dated this guy once, and I was out with one of my girlfriends. She and I were walking down the street and we ran into him. I mean, he was at work, so we ran into him and I just wanted to say hi. So I stopped in and I said hi to him and I introduced him to my friend and we continued on our way. Now, my friend had actually met him once before, but it was super brief. So once we went on our way and my girlfriend said to me, I didn't realize the first time I met him how attractive he is because he was a very good looking guy. And I was like, yeah, girl. So later that evening or like the next day or something, I saw him and I told him that my girlfriend said that he was very attractive. Now, I thought he would have said, like, tell her I said thank you or that was nice of her or something like that. Maybe even blown it off like, out of some kind of embarrassment or something. Instead, what he told me was, did you tell her she better watch her mouth? And I was like, huh? I was so confused. I was like, what? And I got it later, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be like hyper vigilant. Like I'm supposed to be worried. Like, oh, you better watch your mouth. You're talking about my man. Like I was supposed to like do some shit like that. Like, no. Like you are a good looking guy. I would expect anyone with eyes to see to recognize that. That's what I recognize. That's why I chose you. Like I'm not bothered by people acknowledging that you look good. What I'm not threatened. I'm not bothered. Like what the fuck? It's a compliment. Take the fucking compliment. But no, you want women to feel threatened and to feel insecure and to fight over you and to fight for you. Child, please. Child, please. So anyway, that's just what it kind of reminded me of. Like, and then Izzy said to Stacy, like, "You think I'm gonna like throw girls in your face? First of all, you're 29. I'm gonna need you to not refer to women as girls." But what Stacy said was 100% true when she said, "I feel like you want to come across as a fuck boy," and she was right, and she needs to like really rest in that. That was your intuition, and you need to go with that because Izzy is a fuckboy. Every time Johnie comes around, he has to start shit with her. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And then Izzy goes to Chris and is trying to convince him that Johnny's a bad person. Like, Chris is pretty cool. He's pretty dope. Who knows what's going to happen with the relationship in real life? But Chris is like, look, um, I like her. She's a good person, and that's it. And like Izzy and Stacy are like, no, she's not. She's shitty. I'm like, can y'all like stop? Y'all just really not making any sense. And like Johnie had said, she was like, aren't you guys happy? Then y'all go for it. Like that's it. Like be happy. What the fuck could Johnie have said in the pause that was so bad that she deserves that kind of treatment? What could she have said in the house that was so bad that she deserved that kind of treatment? You know what she said that was so bad? The truth. She's used to choosing fuck boys. She's used to choosing emotionally unavailable people. And that's what she did when she chose Izzy. And she said that Stacy and Izzy would have problems because Izzy is broke as fuck. Okay, and she's right. And she's right. And these people are triggered and they're trying to defend why they're so awesome and why she's shitty. And they're just scapegoating her. Just like Lydia was scapegoated. Like, I don't get it, Aaliyah. Like, why can't you just have a relationship with Uche? Uche, like, why did you break up with Aaliyah? Uche ended it. Stupid ass Aaliyah laid herself right at his fucking feet and he wiped his shoes on her fucking face, okay, and walked away. And then he went and tried to fuck up Lydia's situation. Yeah, so let's get into Uche's actions, not his words, okay, the actual things that he did. First of all, he went fucking ham on Aaliyah for her voluntarily disclosing infidelity 2 years before. She didn't have to tell him, and she shouldn't have told him. She didn't have to tell him. She didn't even tell the person that she was with. So now that person gets to see that on TV. Stupid. Aaliyah is dumb. Okay, she's dumb. She's dumb. But she didn't have to tell you, Uche. But she did tell you. And what you did with that was try to make her feel so small for something that was literally 2 years ago. So why not take that into consideration as to why she might have no longer been interested in the experiment? Maybe in addition to Lydia's smothering or whatever. Personally, I feel like Aaliyah scapegoated Lydia. Like, I'm just going to blame everything on her rather than actually get into the nitty gritty of why Uche is making me feel uncomfortable. I'm going to blame her because it's easier. Because she gives a lot of cowardly vibes. A lot of cowardly vibes. But Uche ended it with Aaliyah. So now Uche feels as though it's his responsibility to hold Lydia accountable for what she did to Aaliyah. What did she do to Aaliyah? She messed up Aaliyah's relationship with you? You dumped Aaliyah. But really, he dumped her because he wanted to be the person that ended it. And that seems to be his modus operandi. Like, he wants to be the one that walks away. It really bothered him that she left the house. It really, it really bothered him, you know. And so he did all of this drama about, I'm only thinking about you. I'm ready to marry you. Just so that it could lure her into meeting with him, and then he could end it with her. Like, that's really what he sat there, and he sat there in the restaurant with her, and he kept his composure long enough where he could drill her and get all the information out that he wanted to get out, just so he could turn around and dump her. And that's what he was going to do the whole time, because he just wanted the upper hand. And then he went on a rampage to try to a rampage and a smear campaign. There's only one type of person that does that, honey. Okay? There's only one type of person that utilizes an invisible army. There's only one kind of person that triangulates. There's only one kind of person that does smear campaigns and tries to mess up your new relationship because their relationships don't work. And that is a narcissistic person. Okay? Like, they can't be happy if they don't feel like they're on top. So, Izzy doesn't feel like he's on top with Stacy. She's emasculating, she has champagne taste, and he can't foot the bill. So, I got to go blame Johnie, and I got to fuck up her shit cuz I don't want to see anybody happy. Uche's not happy because Aaliyah took her power back. So, he's got to take power from Aaliyah. And now he's got to go try to fuck up Lydia's shit because no, bitch, you're not going to get to walk away and be happy. Another thing I want to say, like, um, I know people feel a way about Milton being like 24 years old and Lydia being all of 6 years older. Like, you would think that she was fucking Demi Moore and he was Ashton Kutcher. Okay, like, it's just 6 years, y'all. Yeah, it does make a difference, but it's really not that fucking serious. Like, I need everyone to chill out, okay? But actually, Lydia is exactly the type of person that would benefit from being with a younger man. The only thing about him that I think is a real problem for her is that he's messy. Like, she's tired of it. She doesn't want to pick up after him. She doesn't want to feel like the mom or the maid. That's really like going to be her issue. But that could happen with a man of any age. That doesn't have anything to do with him necessarily being young. He could be 34 years old and doing crap like that. Between the two of them, they should be able to hire a maid service. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you got to change. It's very hard to make people change. They have to want to change. And Milton clearly doesn't want to change that. He's like, what's the big deal? It's just some clothes on the floor. It's a towel on the floor. Like, so what? So, if y'all was broke and you couldn't afford a maid service, I could see the reason of getting really pissed off about that, because after a while you just don't want to feel like somebody's maid. And then if you enter children into it, it's just But if you can foot the bill, girl, get you a maid service and be done with that. I wouldn't even waste my time. I wouldn't even waste my time. You know. I wouldn't even waste my energy being mad. I mean, like, yeah, I would be like, can you put that in the hamper? And if he doesn't do it, then you just put it in the hamper. Like, sometimes you got to pick your battles for real. Now, if someone's being outright disrespectful, if they're saying they're throwing shit on the floor and they're like, yeah, it's your job to pick it up, now we got a problem. But, some people are messy. Some people are messy. Um, but there's workarounds for that. But Lydia, her attitude, her own kind of energy, she just seems like one of those unhinged, wild, carefree type of chicks that would do good to be with a younger dude. I don't know if she needs to be with Milton. I'm just saying it's not that much of a stretch to me. And yeah, she probably would have loved anybody. She would have loved the fuck out of Izzy. She would have loved the fuck out of Uche. She would have loved the fuck out of Milton. She'll love anybody. Yeah, she's just one of those type of people. She ain't picky. But all this stuff about her stalking based on looking at people on IG and taking a picture of his house. Okay, here's my thing. She took a picture of his house and then she sent it to him and said, "I see you." If Cynthia, I don't know why I said that. If Lydia is a stalker, she's the worst stalker that I've ever encountered. Like who like that's pretty fucking obvious. I would think a real stalker would just watch you. Like first of all, why do people throw around the word stalking like that? The way I understood stalking was that you had to have some kind of ill intent, or that it had to be like unwanted attention, as in the person telling you, "Hey, I don't want you, driving by my house or something. It's creeping me out." You know, I've had people drive by my house. I've had people show up at my place. Did I like it? No, but I would not say they were stalking me. Okay? I think that's a bit much. But like Lydia said, they were having a conversation on the phone and she drove by. It sounded like she was en route. But she drove by, she took a picture and she sent it to him like, "I see you." Like, so what? So what? But to me, the biggest tell that Uche was bullshitting was the way that he was explaining it to Aaliyah. He's like, "I didn't know what to do." Like, your big black ass didn't know what to do? Get the fuck out of here. That bitch is like 4'11. Like, I just would not. I would not be buying that. Like, really? You didn't know what to do. Oh my God, she's taking a picture of my house and she's following people's stories on IG. What do I do? What do I do? Uche, sit down. And he's going everywhere with his screenshots. "Let me show you these screenshots. Let me just prove to you that I'm not bullshitting." Like, Milton played that up. He was like, "You know what? It's just a matter of perception. I'm not really adjacent. I'm on a whole different parallel. We're in different time and space continuums." And like, I loved it. I loved it. Okay. Milton just slid right through that. He was like, "I'll hit you up in the group chat, my boy." Like, I live my life in the honeymoon phase. I love it. Milton's like the star, okay? I know apparently he was shady and he broke up with a girl so he could be on the show, but I don't really think that's a big deal because as anyone and everyone has stressed, he is 24 years old. So he was dating somebody, but he felt like he would rather be on this show and have that experience. So yeah, he can't date someone outside while he's on the show. So he dumped her. He knew that it wasn't gonna, she wasn't the one. So I don't get what the big deal is. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, you mad because he broke up with you, so you want to jump on TikTok, or your friend want to jump on TikTok, and that's fine. Like, you have the right to feel the way that you feel, but he's not like some evil person because he broke up with a girl and joined a reality show. Like, I don't see what if I was dating someone, maybe I thought it was going well, or it was just going okay, or it was just going, and he dumped me, and then I found out he audition for a reality show, and that's probably what led him to end our relationship, yeah, I would feel some kind of way. Especially considering he's 24. The girl was probably like 20, in her 20s as well. So, you have a different outlook on things when you're that age. At my age now, I'm like, girl, he ain't the one. That's what it means. If he could dump you to join a reality show, that means he wasn't the one and you weren't the one. That's what the fuck that means. Like, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. That's just how I see it. Like, y'all, youngins, please, y'all be wasting your time on a lot of shit. I've done it too. I've done it too. I've been in a situation similar to Lydia and Uche's. Not all the way, but similar. Okay, where somebody had a very tumultuous break with that person, a lot of harassment and stalking going on, and got into a new relationship. And when I say this person cyber stalked me for at least like 2 years later, oh yeah. But you know what I did? I ignored them. And they went away. They got bored. Look, they might still be listening and watching and lurking. But I understand one thing. And that one thing is that they can do that if they want to. Go ahead, listen to my content. Um, slide through my Facebook. I don't care. Check out the IG every now and then. So what? As long as you're not bothering me, as long as you're not in my face, like I don't understand why Uche feels like he's the only one that's allowed to be on the show. Like the fact Lydia's mere presence means that she's a stalker. She's stalking me. She wants me back. Granted, she might have wanted you back, but it seemed like old girl wants any and everybody back. Like I just don't. You're not that special. She's just she's just one of those like clingy, opportunistic, man eater type of women. Like she just loves love. She just wants to be in love. She would have loved the narrative that they both were on the show and they found their way back to each other. She would love the narrative that she's a Puerto Rican and she got with a Mexican poppy in the pods. She loved the story that she met this big ginormous giant 24-year-old giant named Milton and they're both scientists. She loves it all. She's just that type of person. And yeah, she's a little cuckoo, but there's somebody that's going to love that cuckoo. Maybe it's Milton, maybe not. And I think that's her biggest problem is that she hasn't found the person that really is into her type of crazy. Okay? I mean, you don't think Izzy is crazy? Every time he goes off on Johnie and then he goes back to Stacy like I love you so much. Oh, I was so turned on when you were going off on Johnie. Nigga, you crazy. The fuck? You're nuts. You don't think that Uche is crazy? The way he was so determined to end Milton and Lydia's relationship, like that's crazy. And then he called that other African lady bitter. Why was she bitter? Because he didn't pick her in the pods? Yeah, I mean, he's definitely narcissistic. It's all about him. So I'm just saying, these are the things that these dudes actually do. And it gets like super overlooked. But these women, because she follows some people on IG, because she supposedly said something, do you notice that no one could confirm that Lydia actually even said that? If anything, all the women were coming to Lydia's defense. Yeah, Aaliyah just wanted to scapegoat Lydia because she was uncomfortable with Uche for a number of reasons. But she didn't want to look like a fool on TV, so, but she wanted to date Uche on the low low, so she left the house. But she still got played. So it's Lydia's fault because she told me what color your car was, and she told me that y'all fucked 90 days ago. Like, Uche was in somebody's buns the night before he got into the pods. Like, stop. Who cares? Who even cares? All right, I've talked this to death, but like Love is Blind and shows of that nature, like that's one thing that um I notice about these shows is just how much they make women look insane. And honestly, I don't even know if it's the show making women look insane or if it's just society and the way that we choose to view women. Like, we're so hard on these women. Trust me, if a dude was in the pods doing the things, saying the things that Johnie said, like, what was it, Zach and Bliss? Like, Zach all the way chose somebody else, went on that little vacation with them and got carried and played. It's not like he met her and was like, "Oh, I've made a wrong choice." No, that girl played him. And then he circled back and got back with Bliss. And Bliss accepted him, and now they're just like one of these iconic love stories on Love is Blind. Nobody is critical of Zach at all. So, but Johnie, oh my God, Johnie dumped Chris. Oh shit. Oh, they were still in the pods. She didn't get engaged to somebody else. She didn't go on vacation with somebody else. She didn't move in with somebody else. All she did was, was isolate herself essentially. That's all she did. Yeah, misogyny. That's the misogyny of it all. Lydia, the supervillain. I gotta go.